It is the last day of April, which means we're headed into the home stretch of the 2015 provincial election campaign. In 5 days, Albertans head to the polls to decide who will form our next government. With me this morning, the man who would like to hang on to the province's top job, Progressive Conservative Party leader Jim Prentice. Welcome, Mr. Prentice.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
Exciting spring election and the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, let's talk about that. We're all wearing our Flames best this morning. It's determined now. The Flames Game 3, their first home game against the Ducks, happening Tuesday night. Is there any concern that that's going to detract from voter turnout?
Well, it'd be a busy night, but I think people, will get out and vote. They believe in democracy, and in addition, they go home and watch the Flames game after that. So it'll be a full action-packed evening.
So much celebration. Safe to say that that is not a game you're going to be able to take in person.
No, I will not. No, for sure.
The advanced polls have opened. Of course, lots of speculation.
Right.
Not everybody has voted yet. How are you feeling about things so far?
Good. It feels great. I think it's clear to Albertans that there's two very different visions of the province on the table. One offered by the NDP and a free enterprise vision of the province that we put forward. That's positive about our future. That we know we have a challenging couple of years, but we've been through times like this before. We'll get through it again. But we need leadership and we need stability and we need a plan for sure.
Well, I know you are encouraging people to focus on those visions right now. Unfortunately, there are a number of issues that have been dogging the PC party of late. Jamie Lyle, Jonathan Dennis, Mike Allen, Craig Chandler. Not going to ask you about those specifically. We've covered those plenty. But how do you get Albertans to focus on the issues when they may see issues with personnel?
Well, there's always personality issues in an election, and there are always distractions. But I can tell you what Albertans are focused on the doors, because we're out door knocking and speaking with Albertans. They're worried about jobs and they're worried about the economy. They're worried about the slippage in the economy. They know that we need to protect our fundamentals in this province, that this is not the time to move away from the free enterprise job-creating engine that we are. And so that's what people are talking about at the doors. They're worried about their job and the job of somebody in their family, the price of their house. Those are the issues that Albertans are concerned about, and that's what our plan addresses.
And when you talk about Albertans seeing two very different visions being laid out, it was very clear during the leaders' debate, Brian Jean and David Swan kind of taking a little bit of a backseat. It really was between you and NDP leader Rachel Notley. Do you consider her your sort of most fierce opponent at this time?
Well, I think it's clear that the two differing visions of the province, have been put forward by the NDP and by ourselves. And from my perspective, the policies that we've heard of from the NDP, things like a royalty review, things like damaging the competitiveness of our energy industry, not standing up for pipelines that we know are essential to our province. I mean, these are the things that will set Alberta back, that will damage our ability to create jobs. People see that, they understand it, and I trust to the judgment of Albertans at the end of the day on this.
Albertans do tend to be focusing on the NDP when it comes to Edmonton. Calgary, a bit of a different story. You have been spending a lot of time here. Are you focusing more efforts perhaps in Calgary because of that?
Well, I've been all over the province, crisscrossing the province for the last month, and so I've been to pretty much every corner of Alberta. I was in Grand Prairie at the beginning of this week, for example. So I've had a couple days here. I'm headed to Edmonton. At this point, I have a big dinner there this evening, and getting a chance to meet Albertans in every corner of the province. And people are optimistic about the future. There's nothing more determined and more optimistic than Albertans, the people of this province. And so we've experienced some tough times before. We'll get through this, but we'll get through it together.
And one of those tough times, budget shortfall when it comes to education. If you would, myself as a mother of a 5-year-old looking ahead to a long school career, where do you see those budgetary shortfalls coming?
Important question. Education. We are very committed to education. That's why we're building over 200 school projects across the province, the biggest build-out in schools in Canadian history, over $5 billion. That's why we've protected the salary of every single teacher in the province in our budget, and have actually increased the education budget to do that. The school boards, we're working with the school boards, and we've said to them, the boards together have about $460 million sitting in bank accounts. We said now is the time to use that to make sure that we protect programs and protect kids and teachers' aides and those sorts of things. And we've said if any school board has trouble keeping up with population pressure and growth, we will work with them for sure, because education is important to us and it's fundamentally important to this province.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prentice. Safe travels to you, and good luck on election night.
Nice to be with you. Thank you.